Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
A very warm welcome in the first module of week 2 of the course Roadmap for Patent Creation, titled Patent Searching and Analysis. In this module, we will be discussing one of the advanced area in IPR, that is patent informatics or patent analytics. In the earlier module, we have given you little bit idea about the patent informatics, and as it is a very important area with reference to research, we have included one dedicated module on it. When we say patent, we can divide this domain broadly into 3 categories. First, patent searching, then second, patent drafting and prosecution, and third, patent litigation. Patent searching and analysis is the area where patent analysts dig out the related patents from the huge number of patent documents and then analyze it based on the objective of the activity. Patent drafting and prosecution is the area where patent attorney or patent agent draft the patent document and also take care of a prosecution. Here the prosecution is time bound. Patent agents and lawyers interact with patent office at various stages of patent prosecution, which involves first application or patent filing, then reply to the first examination report, that is FER, then hearing. And there are few other steps, and patent agent or attorneys will take care of that stages. Patent litigation is the third vast area. Here, lawyers help the patent owners to get their rights or to enforce their rights. So, these 3 important broad areas when we consider, that is patent analysis, patent drafting and patent prosecution, and the third one is a patent litigation. Now, how exactly patent analysis works? Here, patent analysts use the search strategy. It is very skillful job, as you have to take out very relevant patent documents. We say this job is like searching a needle in a haystack. This is not exaggeration. This is the fact, as patent analysts have to pull very relevant patent, maybe 1 or maybe 3000 or more. It depends on the objective of the activity. Why such a range I am giving? Because when we have to prepare a landscape, the number may be large, and when we are doing novelty search or patentability search, at that time number is generally very low. That is, a single patent is also enough to invalidate patent under consideration. We will not go in details of that now. Just we will keep in mind that it is a very skillful job. Now, once you have pulled the data in Excel sheet or any format you are comfortable, the process of analysis starts. Thus, from raw data, relevant data is pulled and it is analyzed. Analysis may be presented in the form of Venn diagram, technology mapping, technology trend analysis, Oreca mapping or themescape mapping, anything depending on the patent database you are using, or if you are creating the report manually, and the citation tree. These are a few representative examples shown in this slide. There are many more ways to represent the data, and it depends on the objective of the activity. Now, you will say, what is the importance of this whole activity? This importance we can present in a very simple way as below. Who is the first question? So, here this information in the patent document will help you to know details about inventors, companies, attorneys, cited or citing parties. This information will be very useful in HR point of view, or may be useful to decide on collaborations or technology transfer activity. So, it depends on the user how to use this information in patent document. The next is about when exactly particular thing occurred. So, The information in the patent document can be used to know the invention trend, assignment history, if there is any dispute, and if so, what are the chronological activities happen related to it. The information regarding the publication and the information regarding the research activities, all things you will get through this patent document. The next is a where. Then the third, that is where, the location, geographical location about the inventor. This is something which gives you information about the geographical or regional strength with respect to particular technology. Organizations use this information very effectively for establishing collaborations. With this information about location, you can do geomapping for the project you are interested. Then the next, the information about how. What are the different approaches or ways used in the particular experiments? What are the effects of that approaches? What are the advantages and disadvantages of that approach? This information may help you decide on your approach to solve the problem. The last one is a why. The analysis may help you to give motivation. You explore various applications of the technology. Probably that may help you to apply it in your research to improve the results. Your thinking may broaden by knowing the details in the patent documents, and new opportunities can open up to explore. This information may help you in investment decisions also. Thus, in short, patent analytics can give the answers to who, when, where, how and why. Now, we will go in little more details. So, suppose a patent analyst pulls a raw data. Now, this is very useful in business and R&D information. How it is useful? The first example, creative thinking and problem solving. You will say, how patent analytics can be helpful in the creative thinking? In the patent analytics, you dig information and take out or dig out the related patents in your domain. Browsing through this may help you to know the upcoming interesting facts in your domain. This reading and then the pattern development may give you some ideas about the domain or project in which you are working. Thus, this will help you to think differently and help you in problem solving. So, this is the creative thinking and how patent analysis will help. Now, here is the example. You just watch this.
Imagine you are hungry and all you have at home is a coconut, some rice and an egg. If you have no clue and zero creative thoughts, you'd probably eat the raw egg with unboiled hard rice while staring at the coconut. If, however, you have memories of your dad cracking the coconut and your mum boiling the rice, your brain can connect the dots and form a new creative idea. You boil the rice in coconut water, then fry it with the egg and add coconut flakes. Voila! Enjoy your meal. Creativity is our ability to look at a problem and come up with a good solution to solve it. Once we understand this, we realize that it has nothing to do with the subject matter, job, or what we study. There are creative inventors and creative artists, but there are also very creative cleaners and highly creative teachers. People we worship for their creativity often just connect different ideas in a beautiful new way and make them commercially successful. While all of us are creative, we differ in the way that we are and to what extent. Michael Keaton came up with the adaptation innovation theory. He believes that when we solve problems, we are either more adaptive or more innovative. People who are more adaptive creative try to do things better. People who are more innovative creative try to do things differently. To solve a specific problem, say that of smelly cat litter, both.
The next is prevent duplication of research. This is very, very important. When you do research, you are investing your time. If you are a PhD student, you invest your valuable time of 3 to 4 years in research or sometimes more. you are investing the resources. If you are working in public organization or a private organization, so many valuable chemicals, instruments, etc. you are using. So many other important resources you are exploring for your research. Now, in such scenario, it is not good practice that you are working on a project or a problem, something which is already resolved or already extensive work is done to resolve that problem. So, if you use a patent analytics, you will come to know the current state of the art and then you will start from that point. I have seen examples in educational institute that students work on the project which is already explored in much details. The patent is already filed in that area. Such a scenario is there, and then the student get some solution and think of patenting. When we do search report, we show that this work is done already and there is no use of filing patent. So, search report, it is one of the report, already we have discussed in earlier module what is search report is there. To establish the novelty, you can do the search report, and here if you are not using the state of the art, the current scenario, whatever going in your research, if you are not aware, you may reinvent the film. Many times this happens. So, to avoid this duplication, it is necessary to use patent analytics. Rather, all research activity must have mandate to do patent search thoroughly. Then the quality of research can be improved. This can be a part of a literature review in your research. Now, see this example.
With more than 1,000 patents to his name, Thomas Edison is one of the most celebrated inventors in history. But does he really deserve credit for his most famous invention, the light bulb? The real story is more complicated than you might imagine. Almost 40 years before Edison was granted the patent for an electric lamp in 1880, an Englishman named Frederick Desmoulins claimed the first patent for a filament-based incandescent lamp. In Desmoulins' patented design, an electric current heated powdered charcoal between two platinum wires in an evacuated glass tube. Unfortunately, such early light bulbs weren't commercially viable. The platinum filaments were too expensive and burned out too quickly. Desmoulins was just one of the inventors working on lighting up the world. Another Englishman named Joseph Swan actually demonstrated a working lamp with a carbon filament in early 1879, nearly a year before Edison's version debuted. But despite Swan's successes, his bulbs were not useful for consumers either, as they still burned out too quickly to be an affordable solution. Finally, in October 1879, Edison had a breakthrough when he realized that a very thin carbon filament with high electrical resistance was needed to make a light bulb practical. After testing as many as 6,000 different materials, he settled on carbonized bamboo to make his filaments. And by early 1880, Edison's bulbs could last some 600 hours. In fact, the bulb he created is very similar to the light bulbs we use today. Edison and Swan both applied for patents by 1880. Ensuing litigation between the two ended when they formed a joint company in 1883. So while many inventors contributed to the development of the light bulb over the course of decades, it really was Thomas Edison who finally succeeded in making electric light a commercial success, and the light bulb one of history's most famous symbols of innovation.
Check next, R&D and business strategy. You will say how strategy is related to patent analytics. Here the fact is, this analysis gives you pretty well idea about domain in you are working. So, this analysis along with the business analytics together may help you to decide on further activities in the organization. This is very powerful tool to remain competitive in your domain. Your visionary look based on patent and business analytics helps you to think very differently than your competitors. This patent analytics helps you to give technology trend. So, for example, suppose you are working in some X domain. You can take help of patent analysts to check the last 50 years trend in your domain. This trend may help you to decide on further projection in your technology domain. Similarly, white space mapping. Patent analyst can help you to give the landscape. By observing this landscape, you can find out the areas which are not explored till time. But before that, what is landscape? Landscape is nothing but the analysis of patent documents and then clustering the related patents and then establishing the relationship between that clusters. So, this is like the Orica map or a themescape map by Derwent Innovation, a database. So, some databases help you to give this automatically generated by machine. However, many times this landscape activity is done manually by patent analysts. So, this is about the technology trend and white space mapping. Coming to next is bridge the technology gap. How patent analyst will help in this? Interesting thing that patent analyst helps you in bridging the technology gap. Here, suppose you are working in two different domains. Now, you want to connect these two domains to create something new which will give synergistic effect. Here, you can explore these two domains in details and can find out the thread, a connecting thread, these two technology in between these two technologies through the analysis of patents. Such a hint can help you to think over the link and explore the opportunity to invent something very new in this that the domain you are working. The next one is prevent infringement and litigation. This is very important. Patent litigation is very costly and you know the legal maxim ignorantia juris non excusat. The meaning of it is ignorance of the law excuses not. That is, if you say I was ignorant about it, law will not give you excuse. Hence, it is always suggested to do the patent analytics, especially if you are doing any commercial activity in that technology. You may never know that technology might be already patented by someone else. Thus, to avoid infringement and litigation, it is necessary to do the patent analytics. Please see the example. The next is technology transfer and licensing. Now, how it is useful for this? Here, as informed earlier in the earlier slide, where we have seen who, when, where. I have mentioned this is useful in HR and collaborative activities. How this is helpful? Let us take an example. Suppose you are working in mechanical engineering domain. Now, in that on a particular problem you are working. Now, when you browse through the patents in that domain, you get the information about the who else is working in that domain. Through this mapping, you can find out who can be benefited from my invention, and then based on that analysis, you can think of technology transfer and licensing. Please see the example.
It's easy to think that the hardest part of the process is identifying the molecule and validating the target. and doing the clinical trials. But the reality is, it is just as hard and oftentimes even harder to make sure that the molecule that is shown to work can actually be manufactured in quantities that are sufficient for everyone who needs it in a consistent manner and make it accessible to everyone who needs it.
Can you give us a little bit of an update on the engineering, design, and stuff?
Yeah, well, one of the responsibilities of Global MSAT is actually to serve as the glue or the point of contact for all the other sites around the network that are owned by Roche and Genentech. Regardless of whether the product is actually made in Europe or made in Asia or in the United States, you're going to get a continuously monitored, well-executed, and delivered on processes.
So basically what this project involves is allowing some flexibility in our supply chain.
We have lots of technical experts, and I think you can imagine it can be pretty challenging pulling folks who are experts across the world to come collectively together to problem solve, because I really think that's where our skills are highlighted.
Once the material is used by the filling facility, the tanks have a validated hold time.
In transferring a process throughout the world, you need to look at all different kinds of variables. That could be different kinds of water, different kinds of material of construction of the tanks. It could be different flow rates, different energy outputs to actually run different pumps at different speeds. You need to make sure that this is all consistently done to the other plants that make the similar drug.
Our crack engineering team has already performed a series of mixing studies.
Consistency is key, because it shouldn't matter if it came out of site A versus site C. In the end, it's the same drug that the patient gets.
You cannot stop the pursuit of understanding your molecule and your process and the product well beyond the initial discovery and the development, because you're constantly going to learn new things about your molecule and the product, and you need to apply that learning back to your manufacturing process and make sure that the quality continues to stay at the highest possible level.
We hear a lot of stories here at Genentech from actual patients that communicate back the impact that these kind of drugs had on their lives. And that's what really drives us to meet those timelines and deliver product.
The impact of the work we do is phenomenal. I mean, the work we do is highly impactful to people, the society, and the quality of life of everyone. I can't imagine that it gets much better anywhere else.
Now the last one, it is a mergers and acquisitions. Here, these patent analytics help you in detailed analysis about the strength of the particular organization. So for example, if you want to acquire a particular organization, then here you can do thorough patent analysis to know the strength of the technology and patent or other IP portfolio to value the organization. We have seen in last module Roche and Genentech merging. Such activities generally involves patent analytics and checking out of IP portfolio strength. Thus, patent analytics can help you in creative thinking and problem solving, prevent duplication of research, R&D and business strategy, technology strengths and white spaces, bridges the technology gap, prevent infringement and litigation, technology transfer and licensing, mergers and acquisition. With this, we come to the end of this session. In the next session, patent definition, we will learn about the definition of patent and the criteria for patenting. See you in the next session. Thank you.